Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. PsychicTarot.ca, book your tarot reading and unlock your spiritual journey. And the Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids and cubs, and welcome to Season 5 and episode number 820 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. Oh, Canada. Always 100% Canadian. Today, recording day is Monday, December 29th, 2025, and we have some weather here at the remote Beaver Lodge. In fact, we have some weather pretty much from coast to coast to coast today. I am your host, the slightly frustrated Eager Beaver. Pronouns he, him. Hey, Mr. Beaver, and not with me as usual is my good friend Mr. Grizzly, even though I did have a chance to have a small little exchange with him early this morning. A big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Pepper Master, Miss V Mysteries from Corbin Moon Publishing, and PsychicTarot.ca. I have a hair in my mouth for some reason. All right. We're going to try and do a show for you today. Hopefully it will work. Well, thank you, Kit Playing with 3D, for the lovely compliment about my beard. Thank you. It is looking good, isn't it? It's coming out pretty well in the camera. When I look in the mirror, however, it's not looking that good. I have a little trimming to do here on the sides and down here today. All right, kids and cubs, for those of you who are here live, thank you for sticking it out. As for me, it seems the theme of the day is nevertheless the beaver persisted. For those who are listening but not watching live, this is our fourth attempt to start the show today because everything technological that was working quite fine on Friday was not working today for some reason. So I am doing this as analog as possible in a digital world. No screen sharing, which we tried to do, and that didn't work. And also no additional microphone in order to have better sound quality, because when we finally got the imaging to work, then we lost sound. So we are not going to do clips, and the quality of the sound may not be what is our usual standard. Apologize for that, but this is the only way that we can appear to get a show for you today after 2 hours of trying to start on time. Okay, but we're not going to let that get us down, are we? As much as I'm still frustrated, I'm sure that as I keep talking with you, damn fam, that my mood will lighten and change. But right now, yeah, I'm a little... That's the scientific term for it. All right, kids and cubs. We were going to present some news about originally the leadership of the BC Conservative Party, but there was a video announcement which we are not able for some reason to broadcast So we'll push that back to another show when we have those capabilities and talk about other things, like, for example, the most Canadian of topics that there could possibly be at this time of year, the weather. Because we've got a lot of it. According to the Canadian press, actually, and this is no joke here, there's about 20, you heard that correctly, 20 weather warnings in effect across Canada at the moment. This is as early, I believe, this is from 7:30 a.m. yesterday, but I'm sure a lot of this is still continuing today. About 20 weather warnings from Environment Canada are set to remain in effect for swaths of the country over the weekend, as the weather agency forecasts more snowfall, blizzards, freezing rain, and shivering temperatures from coast to coast. Mariana Greeno, a meteorologist with Environment Canada, says the best thing Canadians can do is be aware of the warnings. Quote, "They could be impactful for you depending on what you're doing," she said in a Saturday interview. "It's definitely been a very active weather pattern, which we don't always get at this time of the year, but we can." An Environment Canada winter storm warning says up to 40 centimeters of snowfall starting Saturday will accumulate by Sunday afternoon, or would accumulate by Sunday afternoon in much of the western coastal areas of Newfoundland and Labrador. Other parts of the province will see between 5 to 15 centimeters of snowfall in that time frame. I have to remember to put these verbs in the past tense because this is a yesterday article. From Waterloo, Ontario in the south to North Bay in Ontario's northeast and areas near Canada's capital, Ottawa, Environment Canada was forecasting up to 15 millimeters of freezing rain, some rainfall as well as a blanket of snowfall starting Sunday and going into Monday. The weather agency says in a freezing rain warning that ice pellets may not only make roads and walkways slippery, but also cause power outages and topple trees in parts of Ontario. And there have been significant power outages in Ontario over the course of the weekend. Kit Miss was actually sharing some news over the course of the weekend about stuff going on in London, Ontario, where there was no power for a good while. But I believe as of yesterday, at some point, at least hers had come back. So I'm not sure if it stayed on, but it had come back. We have here Kit Linda M saying here, the wind is blowing so hard, I can't tell how much snow is actually coming down. Wow. Okay. That's something. Yeah. Because I'm guessing that it's the snow sort of swirling or whatnot, and you can't actually get a good idea. And same thing with accumulation. If you've got wind blowing, you might have like the wind pushing the snow accumulation higher in certain areas, and with the wind maybe removing it from certain places where it seems it could give the appearance of hey, there wasn't that much snow at all, but turn the corner and you see this big mound of it. Oh, that's where it all went. That happens to us where we live. Sometimes we get this swirl in our laneway, and there's a part of our laneway that has absolutely no snow in it whatsoever, and then there's another part of our laneway that has like 4 or 5 feet of it. Well, maybe not 4 or 5 feet, 2 or 3 feet of it that is all accumulated and got pushed into a corner. The weather agency says, I mentioned that already, large parts of Quebec are also set to be hammered by snowfall, but Environment Canada says in snow warning that storm won't arrive until Monday. Further west, Environment Canada has issued cold warnings for a large part of Alberta and Saskatchewan. From Medicine Hat in Alberta south to Fort McMurray in the north, the weather agency says a wind chill of minus 40 Celsius is set to stick around until Sunday morning. The same wind chill warning is in effect for cities, towns, and villages on Saskatchewan's side of the border between the two provinces, as well as parts of Yukon, Yukon's been in a rather severe cold snap for quite a while now. Pacific frontal system is also bringing heavy snowfall to communities on and near the Yukon-British Columbia border and blizzards to BC coastal communities. The northwest coast of British Columbia was also set to see up to 150 millimeters of rain from Sunday night to Monday morning. And I'm not sure if this is the same areas of BC that have already received a lot of rain with the atmospheric river not that long ago. And I believe that it had even provoked a few landslides along the way because just the ground just cannot absorb more water. And from past incidents, well, there's not a lot, there's less and less and less vegetation on the side of those hills in order to be able to retain some of that. So things are getting bad. Greeno, the Environment Canada meteorologist, says the weather roller coaster being seen across Canada is the result of 3 different weather systems moving into the country. One weather system was coming from the Pacific Ocean in the west, the second one was affecting Ontario, and the third low system was hovering over the east coast. The only province that's seen unordinary weather so far was Alberta, she said. Usually in December, the province sees 18 centimeters of snowfall, but it received 24 in the last week alone. We're well over the normal in Alberta, she said. So that was yesterday's kind of stuff with sort of recap of what happened over the weekend. According to, again, Canadian Press, this is a little more recent, 6:42 a.m. today. It says, the nasty side of Old Man Winter continues today as freezing rain, blowing snow, and strong winds are expected to slam areas in eastern Canada. Let's see if I can move this here. It'll be a little better. From Ontario to Newfoundland and Labrador. Environment Canada says most of Ontario can expect a mixed bag of precipitation ranging from freezing rain in Ottawa to heavy snow along Lake Superior and up to 60 centimeters in Timmins. For some reason, there's a color-coded environment warning, red, yellow, and orange. And yesterday, for some reason, there were some warnings being issued where it said red alert, but it had the orange symbol. So there was a little bit of a confusing oopsie from Environment Canada at some point yesterday. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Kitland M saying, I believe 40,000 people were without power at one point. Ooh, that's a lot. Kit Tabby saying that the drifting snow is pretty incredible. Well, they are as well. Kit Saucy here in Nova Scotia, if I'm not mistaken, I think we have a rain warning. Say goodbye to the snow. That's going to be a mess, 25 to 40 millimeters of rain, and we have a bunch of snow down. Yee. Lots of stuff. Kit PNC Bio says, I think it's going to get pretty bad if every... Oops, sorry. I thought that was the weather, but it was about something else. Sorry. That's my bad. That's my bad. Kit Nona Carrera says, we have no more snow thanks to the rain and warm temperature overnight, but it's freezing up now. Wow, that's... yeah, I'm not... I get very concerned when we get the rain and then the flash freezing, right? Because everything gets super icy, and that's when some really bad things can happen. And of course, we're not the only ones getting it. Kit Saucy pointing out that California got hit with atmospheric river again. Here we have, whoops, phone wants to slip for some reason. We have Kit Lori Sue in the United States saying, the storm you're getting hit with passed through my area all of yesterday and long into the night. Lots of snow blowing sideways, minus 17 Fahrenheit here now, and ridiculously windy. I'm not sure if I'm doing the conversion, what minus 17 Fahrenheit transfers into in Celsius. Huh. Yes, Kit Saucy recommending the Weather Channel app here today. Very, very important. And Kit Uncover the News says that Belleville is getting wind warnings as well. According to the Canadian Press, those in Quebec can expect similar conditions, with the Weather Office forecasting up to 25 centimeters of snow in some areas of Montreal. Northern areas of New Brunswick, most of Nova Scotia, and all of Prince Edward Island are also under a weather warning for possible freezing rain through tonight. A yellow weather warning for high winds and blowing snow is in effect for areas of southwestern Newfoundland and Labrador, and freezing rain in northeastern Newfoundland. Much of Canada has been blasted with a number of weather systems over the last week, ranging from blizzards and cold snaps to freezing rain. That's according to the Canadian Press. Here, just checking to see if there's any additional news about this. All right, this is from, okay, that's a couple of days ago, so not as current, so we will skip over that one. And here in from CP24, again about the wind warnings in the GTA area. Environment Canada is warning that strong winds could lead to power outages and disruptions to transportation as a wind warning remains in effect for Toronto today. The National Weather Agency said a cold front will bring strong southwesterly winds to the city this morning before becoming a northwesterly in the afternoon. Areas with significant ice buildup from freezing rain will be most vulnerable. Utility outages are possible. Significant disruptions to service and travel are likely. Environment Canada's advisory read, quote, significant damage to buildings and or trees is possible. CP meteorologist Bill Coulter said wind gusts could reach up to 90 kilometers an hour today. Quote, these powerful and cold winds are also expected to generate impressive snow squalls off Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. Some of the traditional snow belts adjacent to these bodies of water could pick up to 25 to 50 centimeters of snow locally and face near blizzard conditions today and tonight, Coulter said. Tuesday will bring gusty weather with flurries expected by the evening, bringing between 5 and 8 centimeters of snowfall to Toronto by Wednesday afternoon. So that's what we have here. And then let's see if there's more. There is a lot of weather here. All right, this is not as current, so we will skip this one here. So yes, talking about Newfoundland and Labrador, this was from yesterday. This is Laura Howells from the CBC, saying the last few days have been a winter wonderland for people across Newfoundland and Labrador. Up to 99 centimeters of snow or more than 3 feet is estimated to have fallen in the Green Bay, White Bay area since Christmas night, said Justin Boudreau, a meteorologist with Environment Canada. In the community of Lassie, many people spent Sunday morning digging out. I hope I pronounced that right. It could be Lassie. I don't know how it's pronounced there. SCIE. Pretty much everything is buried, said Hunter Burton, a counselor in Lassie. If there's anybody that has a pronunciation tip, by the way, in the chat, if they know how that's pronounced in Newfoundland and Labrador, please issue me a gentle correction, because I might be butchering that. Deputy Mayor Cassandra Butt said the town's only gas station ran out, and the community's only gas station ran out of fuel, as did another one about 45 minutes away. But she says neighbors have been helping each other get by. Quote, it's been a long time since we've seen snow piles this high in this town, Butt said. Everywhere you go, people are calling it a very old-fashioned winter. In Western Newfoundland, an estimated 30 to 50 centimeters of snow came down in total, with as much as 100 centimeters in unpopulated higher terrains. There are still blowing snow advisories for the Nain area as of Sunday afternoon. Meanwhile, the Avalon and parts of central Newfoundland were under new freezing rain warnings. Hundreds of people in central Newfoundland woke up to no power Sunday morning. Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro and Newfoundland power crews have been working on outages as they happen, but continuing poor conditions have delayed restoration in some areas. Winter storms also made roads impassable, closing large sections of highway on the Northern Peninsula and Labrador on Sunday. On the Northern Peninsula, Route 410 was closed from near Port Saunders to Plum Point. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but it was for a while. And Labrador, Route 516 to Cartwright was closed Saturday morning, along with parts of Route 510. Those roads have since reopened. Travel was not recommended on parts of the west coast and central Newfoundland. Boudreau says a warmer period is on the way this week, but more snow could be possible. However, he said, quote, it's probably the last major snowstorm of this year. Oh, you are very, very, very confident. Oh, of this year. Yes, because there's only 2 days left, not of the season, because there's still a while ago. I forgot for the 29th of December, and that there was only a few days left the year. Yeah, Kitsasi says, I'm going to say Lassie, which is probably what I thought. All right. In Prince Albert, it seems as well as that there was a Christmas Day fire at a Salvation Army, and then there were some temporary warming centers that needed to open there in order, well, you know, to stay warm, of course, because you know, it's pretty cold. But yeah, over 77 guests had to stop in at the Prince Albert Grand Council Urban System building on Saturday night after it had opened its doors as a temporary warming center. Because the lone warming center in Prince Albert, which was run by the Salvation Army, was reduced to ashes right after serving Christmas dinner to those in need. Oh my God, what a terrible thing. The Prince Albert Fire Department said that the incident happened just before 8 p.m. Thursday. When crews arrived, they found the building engulfed in fire and heavy smoke. The fire department said crews were successful in limiting the spread of the fire and damage to adjoining buildings. The warming center's building, however, sustained heavy damage and is expected to be considered a total loss. Wow. The last few days have been filled with the helping hands of community members who Dean says have come to help maintain the temporary center and take care of those using it. Even guests have come back after their 10 a.m. closing to help clean up. Quote, "We haven't had to do it all," Dean said, "and we're grateful." Kimberly Jonathan, director of the Indigenous Relations with the YMCA and member of the Prince Albert Grand Council, received a call about the fire on Thursday night. She was not prepared for the seriousness of what she saw when she arrived at the Salvation Army building to find it engulfed in flames. Jonathan made a few calls, and it wasn't long before stakeholders for the center got together to come up with a plan for the way forward. Jonathan said the group recognized how big of a loss the warming center was to the community. Quote, "What was very heartwarming was that we were able to not have a delay in services. We opened the doors almost immediately to the guests that were needing warmth." Stakeholders of the center released a statement on Friday announcing the temporary shelter at the Prince Albert Ground Council Urban Services Building. It will be available for use until January 2nd and run each night from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. The community knew it needed to step up, and we needed to offer them space to regroup over the holidays. Volunteers have poured in from all over the city, including organizations like the YMCA, Prince Albert Security, and Prince Albert Grand Council. Jonathan said nobody knew how a temporary shelter would turn out, but trusted in the good intentions of people. Many people have come to drop off items, including food and clothing, in support of the Salvation Army. Jonathan said there are also people who have rolled up their sleeves to help cook and serve meals to guests. Quote, "There were a lot of tears. There was a lot of sharing. There was just being together," Jonathan said. Guests who have come in to use the temporary shelter have been, quote, "so grateful." She said there have been many who have come in with red hands from the cold weather who are so thankful for the chance to warm up. Quote, "The environment is full of gratitude. The environment is full of helping each other," she said. There have been many conversations around what next steps for the center will look like after the temporary shelter closes on the 2nd. While Dean assured services will still be available, it's the matter of finding a permanent space to operate. Quote, "It's just patience, one thing at a time." Dean started to go through inventory Saturday morning, picking out what he will require for the new center after the Prince Albert Fire Department deemed the last building a complete loss. At the same time, he says many people are offering what they can to help them in rebuilding. "It's a team effort," Dean said. Many heads will be involved in deciding where the center is moved to next, and Dean said that picture should look much clearer in the next few days. Despite the uncertainty, he says he is interested to see where they go from here, even as they, quote, "journey along the way." This will be a marathon. It won't be a quick run to the finish line. Ooh, that must have been really frightening, too. I mean, I'm going to guess that there were people in the building when the fire started, so, but there doesn't seem to be any reports of injuries or fatalities. So we are definitely happy for that. You know, congratulations to the community for coming together and making sure that there was absolutely no interruption in service. In another bit of news that's probably a rather typical Canadian, well, maybe not typical, but a very Canadian story. I heard this on the news before going to bed last night. According to Rhythm Rathi of CBC News, Courtney DeVoe and her boyfriend Zachary Legacy were talking about the moose signage and fencing around the highway they were traveling along just moments before they hit a moose that totaled their Volkswagen Golf. The collision happened in early December along Highway 7 near Geary, New Brunswick. DeVoe, 28, was transported to the hospital with serious injuries. She was kicked in the head by the animal. 3 weeks later, she is still in recovery, which her family says may take several months. Legacy, who was driving at the time, saw the moose's front leg strike DeVoe at least twice in the head as the dying animal tried to get its limbs off the car, he said. Quote, "I tried to get in front of it, but my seatbelt was on, and I was so in shock I didn't know how to press my seatbelt button to take it off. I was just trying to get in front of her," he said. Legacy said he was crying and felt helpless on the dark, cold highway until professional help arrived. He said Courtney stopped responding after the hit and did not respond for a long time until she was treated at the hospital. Legacy suffered a bruise on his forearm along with some scratches, he said. Quote, "I was in shock that either of us walked away. The roof had been peeled back, to the rear seats, he said. I've replayed it over and over and over again in my head, he said. What could I have done differently? I really don't know an answer for that question. He said if there had been lights on the highway, perhaps they could have spotted the moose. Oh, man. The Granby Bay Westfield RCMP confirmed the collision but could not provide further details before publishing time. Jennifer DeVoe said she learned about her daughter's accident when a woman called and texted her using Courtney's cell phone. Quote, I went into shock. I was frantic, said DeVoe. Upon reaching the St. John Regional Hospital, DeVoe was told that her daughter was being moved to the intensive care unit. Quote, she had suffered a traumatic brain injury. She had a fractured jaw and some fractured ribs. Courtney was put in an induced coma. Since then, she has been making little progress every few days. Making a little progress every few days. The word was missing from that sentence. She has seen Courtney wake up in intervals, squeeze the doctor's hand, blink her eyes, speak a few words, track her parents with her eyes, write on the whiteboard, respond to questions, and walk with assistance. Quote, we're pretty amazed with her progress on Christmas Day. She was reading a little bit. She is now smiling, like showing her teeth to smile, which we always said she had $1 million smile. We're able to see that $1 million smile again, said DeVoe. She said it feels frustrating at times when Courtney does not recognize her mother, but at the same time she remains hopeful and grateful for her daughter's progress. The mother said she also feels emotional when her daughter does recall their memories and gestures. She said Courtney is a very active person who loves to volunteer for the community and has a passion to hit the gym. DeVoe shares a St. John apartment with Courtney, and her absence at home is felt, she said. Quote, she's very bubbly, very kind, has a lot of empathy and compassion, said DeVoe. At the same time, she likes to take the bull by the horn. DeVoe said she does not know how the brain injury could affect Courtney's future, but the family continues to pray for a full recovery. Legacy said the collision has changed his perception of life. He said he is grateful to the people who stopped to call the first responders and put blankets on the injured couple during the cold night. Quote, you always think it's not going to be you, he said. It has just given me a whole new perspective on how precious life is, how fragile life can be, and I've really been reflecting a lot on how much Courtney and I love to do together. Wow. Can you imagine being kicked in the head by a moose? Oh, boy. And both of them, I mean, imagine happening to you, but imagine like just being there and it happened to someone you really, really love and just being completely powerless to do anything and even like so much in shock that you can't remember how to undo your seatbelt. Wow. Hoping that it can be as full a recovery as possible and that the injuries will heal over time. But oh my God, I can't imagine. That's a very, very frightening ordeal to go through. I just can't imagine it in my head at all, like in any way. Whew. In another very Canadian story, sad one in a way, according to Canadian press, Annette Dionne, the last surviving Dionne quintuplet and champion of children's rights, has passed away. Champion of children's rights, sorry, the S didn't come out there, has passed away. The Dionne Quint's Home Museum in North Bay, Ontario, said in a social media post Friday that Annette died on Christmas Eve, but did not provide further details. She was 91. Quote, she believed it was important to maintain the Dionne Quint's museum and the history it provides for the future of all children, the museum said in the post. Annette was the only surviving Quint and was the last surviving sibling among the 14 children of the Dionne family. Rest in peace, Annette. The Dionnes, Annette, Emilie, Yvonne, Cécile, and Marie, became a global sensation after their birth on May 28, 1934, as they were the first quintuplets known to survive past infancy. But the attention came at a personal cost. When the quintuplets were just months old during the Depression era, the Ontario government took them away from their parents, who already had 5 children, and placed them under the control of a board of guardians. More importantly, the government put them in a nursery-style exhibition that millions of tourists lined up to observe through one-way glass. Oh my God, that's horrible. Oh my God. The exhibition, called Quintland, was Canada's biggest tourist attraction at the time. They brought in about $500 million for the province. Hollywood made movies about the girls, and companies such as Kellogg's and Palmolive came knocking at their doors to make them their ambassadors. 5 identical ships were also named after the sisters during the Second World War. Over the first 9 years of their lives, a period when they remained on display, their dad, Annette Dionne, tried to regain custody from the government but was unsuccessful. There's a good dad. When the quintuplets were 18, they decided to move to Montreal and out of the public eye. Émilie died in August 1954, followed by Marie in 1970. Decades later, Cécile, who died earlier this year, came forward asking for compensation from the Ontario government. In 1998, the Ontario government apologized to the sisters and issued a $4 million settlement for the years they spent on display. 3 years later, Yvonne died of cancer. 3 years later, Yvonne died of cancer. Dionne told the Canadian press in a 2019 interview that parents should view childhood as a precious time which shouldn't be exploited for profit. The Dionne Quince Home Museum is the Dionne quintuplets' original family home and was moved from its original site to North Bay, where the family legacy lives on. Oh, I knew a little bit about the story of the Dionne Quince, but I did not know that they had been taken away from their home and put on display. Surprised that the government didn't proactively offer compensation way sooner than just a few years ago. Wow. That's stunning. Okay, well, actually, you know what? It's not really stunning considering the era, but when you look at things of the past with 2025 eyes, right? You just, you wonder how we could have ever made those decisions back in the day. Wow. Maybe that one's just hitting me a little hard, given that I'm a former foster kid myself, and yeah, it kind of it hits me maybe a little different there. Yeah, Kid and Am, they were treated like freaks and not human beings. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Wow. Okay. Just wow. Our big news story today, also, unfortunately, there's just a lot of tragic news today. In Alberta, in Edmonton, there's a very, very sad story because a 44-year-old man, father, breadwinner of his family, went to the Edmonton emergency department and never came home, according to the Canadian press. The Alberta government has ordered a review after a 44-year-old man died while waiting in an emergency department in Edmonton earlier this week. Minister of Hospital and Surgical Health Services Matt Jones, in his social media post, said he has directed Acute Care Alberta and Covenant Health to jointly review the circumstances and factors leading to the death of Prashant Sreekumar at Grey Nuns Community Hospital last Monday. Sreekumar, who was experiencing chest pain, died after allegedly waiting nearly 8 hours to see a doctor at the ER. The accountant was at his office when the chest pain began. His client took him to the hospital. His wife, Niharika Sreekumar, told CBC News on Sunday. She said her husband spent almost the entire time, around 8 hours, in the waiting area while he complained of chest pain. Quote, the one time in his entire life in Canada he needed that system, that treatment, that medical care, he was denied. She said his condition got worse as they waited. She believes his death was preventable and that he was not triaged properly. Yeah. I think that would be exactly the case here. Kit Saucy saying that's the third or fourth person this year, one in Nova Scotia, Ontario, Quebec too, I believe. And here, whoops, the things are scrolling by too quickly here. And this says, this is Kit Nonakara. Oh my God, this is even more terrible. What the actual, their premier must resign. The staff should, yeah, I'm not sure. There's a typo there. So I can't complete that comment, but I think we have a general idea. Kitladab, chest pains usually get you seen right away. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. because you don't mess around with that. Wow. Jeez. She said his condition got worse as they waited. She believes his death was preventable and that he was not triaged properly. I want justice for Prashant. Barinder Mular, a family friend, told Canadian press in a phone interview that initial checkups didn't show anything abnormal, but his blood pressure kept climbing. Prashant Sreekumar died from an alleged cardiac arrest soon after triage. Quote, it was completely avoidable. That's the sad part, Mular said. Quote, sometimes we think it's God's wish, but this time I think humans could have intervened enough to save him. Bular regarded Prashant Sreekumar as a good friend, a person who loved his family and lived an active life, often playing cricket. Acute Care Alberta, a new provincial health agency, said it will participate in the review and implement any recommendations. It said the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner has also begun an independent investigation. CBC News has no information about how busy the emergency department was that day. Covenant Health said in a statement that it was unable to provide comment on specifics for the care of a patient due to privacy reasons. Family Friend has set up a fundraiser for the Prashant Sreekumar family, 3 children aged 3, 10, and 14, and his wife to support them with ongoing needs. He was the family's sole breadwinner, and his wife stayed home to look after one of their children with special needs. Niharika Sreekumar said she was proud of her husband, who was, quote, a superhero father to his children. Quote, they're missing him, she said. He provided for them everything they wanted. He had great plans. Wow. That is an extremely sad story because indeed that was a totally preventable death. The part about this story, external to this, the more political side of this, that has particularly struck me is that the online conservatives, the people that are mad and outraged about everything all the time, right? The people who are beside themselves with rage that liberals and progressives even exist, let alone dare to breathe. You would think that they would be running with this story. Oh my God, how could this happen in this type of country? You know, and all the hate and rage and anger and outrage, whether real or performative, that they reserve for Trudeau, that they reserve for Carney. You would think that that would have surfaced at some point yesterday, right? Brian Lilly, we need changes to our healthcare system. Canada is a laggard, not a leader. And then plugs a newsletter, his own newsletter. Canada's health system is failing us. The death of a 44-year-old man in an ER waiting room is a warning for us all. No jumping off the handle. No accusing Danielle Smith of being incompetent. Right? We're having conservatives, if you go online, Kerry Diot, pretty much every single one of his tweets have, Carney failed, Carney failed, Carney failed. Where are the Smith failed tweets? Where are they? Right? The man who died, his wife says she wants justice. Reasonable. Blue check mark bullshitter, Mario. I want justice too. This is a failure of our federal government, who brought in millions of people in mass to the point we don't even know how many undocumented people there are in Canada. He was a father, he was a husband, he was the breadwinner. This is madness. He was also probably once an immigrant, Mario. What do these two things have to do together? And how is someone dying in an Edmonton hospital. When healthcare, provision of healthcare is a core provincial competency, a failure of our federal government. And how does his death have to do, in any way, shape, or form, with the number of people that have immigrated to Canada during this current Liberal government's tenure? This is just... Okay, I need you to understand here. Someone actually died on Danielle Smith's watch. And these influencers and pundits are not able to muster anywhere near the same amount of outrage for an actual death, totally preventable death, as they are able to summon at will for a carbon tax, for a vaccine mandate, for the fact that Trump can't get his crap together. So we don't have a deal signed yet. That they're ready to call treason. They want to hang people. But when someone actually dies, a preventable death, in the Alberta healthcare system, which is a core provincial competency, in a province where the premier has been screwing with the healthcare system left, right, and center. I want justice. But they don't want her resignation. They're not... Where's the trucker convoy to the legislature buildings? Where are the fuck Danielle signs and flags? Someone died. It's a failure of the federal government. I want justice. Oh, how tragic. Where's the passion? Where's their usual, typical passion? That they're able to summon at will for the most trivial of things. But they can't do it for a man who died. Maybe it's because the man wasn't white. Who knows? But it seems that when Canadians die under Danielle Smith's watch, that sort of online, constantly enraged, anti-everything movement, they go, meh. Or like Mario, let's find a way to try and blame the immigrants for this. I can't. The juxtaposition is just so stark that it really starts to make you wonder about these people. That you would care so much about a carbon price that you're ready to secede from the country because of it. But you can't manage to get yourself genuinely, authentically upset when someone actually dies. And a totally preventable death. I do not understand what the problem is with the members of this death cult that calls itself the conservative movement. Where is the mind, body, soul connection here? Where is the consistency? I don't understand, because that type of incident in a medical setting is something that could literally happen to anyone, to be mistriaged. That can happen to any one of us. You would think that when there is a gap in the system that becomes revealed in this way, that there would be this mass outcry and demands for action. You know, strike the committee, get the premier to come and testify. Let's see what, not that I like to promote his words, because I don't, but let's see how upset Brian Lilly got when a Canadian citizen died under the watch of Danielle Smith in Alberta. Hear these words that I'm about to read and then compare it to everything you know about Brian Lilly and what he says about pretty much every single subject, and how mad and outraged and whatnot he gets. Why are Canadians willing to accept substandard healthcare results just because they get to say our system isn't the American one? The story of an Edmonton man dying after showing up at a hospital with chest pain and only being given Tylenol has sparked a debate. Oh, God, I am... You know what? If this were not a death, that is very tragic, so I'm not going to make the joke. I'm not going to go there. But there is a link with that, because Tylenol has been an issue in Alberta previously. Prashant Sreekumar, a 44-year-old father of 3, died of a heart attack after going to an Edmonton hospital last Monday complaining of chest pains. What happened to Sreekumar is outrageous and the kind of thing too many of us worry about happening to our own loved ones, that when we need care, it won't be there. The wait times will be too long, help will come too late. I'll say this about Canadian healthcare: when you actually get seen, the care is fantastic. The problem is getting access to the care, and the stats back that up. That's what appears to have happened with Sreekumar. The care took too long. The ECG wasn't accurate. I had an inaccurate ECG which claimed I had a heart attack in my late 30s or 40s, when in fact I had it. In that instance, it was a better safe than sorry moment, but the mistakes can go both ways. The story of Sreekumar's death has made international headlines. It's something that many can relate to, and it also speaks to a very valid criticism of our healthcare system. And then, I have no idea why he mentions this, because this is completely irrelevant to our reality. Elon Musk. This is him. He goes from, the story of Sreekumar's death has made international headlines. It's something many people can relate to, and it also speaks to a very valid criticism of our healthcare system. Elon Musk, owner of SpaceX, Tesla, and more, came out with the criticism of our healthcare system when we heard of the story. We don't fucking care, Brian. Nobody in Canada who has 2 brain cells to rub together and get a spark gives 2 shits about what Elon Musk has to say about our healthcare system. Why the fuck are you promoting him now? There are 8 billion people on the planet, and the source you go to confirm your own biases about this to launch your attack is Elon Musk. Quote, when the government does medical care, it's about as good as the DMV, Musk posted to X. Literally After saying, I'll say this about Canadian healthcare, when you actually get seen, the care is fantastic, he follows that up with, when the government does medical care, it's about as good as the DMV. Which is it, Brian? Unbelievable. The post he was sharing linked to a video of Sreekumar's wife berating hospital staff for not taking her husband's issues seriously enough and saying they found her rude for raising concerns. Yeah, I'm sure that had nothing to do with her not being white. When a non-white woman complains that her husband with chest pains, her non-white husband with chest pains, is not being seen fast enough, she's rude. Wonder how that culture came about. Is that the federal government's fault too? The post he was sharing linked to a video of Sreekumar's wife berating hospital staff for not taking her husband's issues seriously enough and saying they found her rude for raising concerns. Would any of us acted differently in the circumstances? No. No, we wouldn't have. Of course, we're talking about his wife, of course, going up and saying, hey, why aren't you doing anything? Of course, after people like my friend and Toronto Star colleague Mark Danielle wrote up the comments from Musk, many Canadians turned from being outraged about our failing system to defending it against this foreigner and Yankee. This is the real. Now we get to the real nub of his text. He's not actually outraged that this guy died. Oh, no. He's outraged that Canadians would dare defend our healthcare system when some ketamine-fueled yahoo from the United States who doesn't know the first thing about us starts speaking about us like he knows us. That's what has Brian upset. That's the point of this piece. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's go back and read that sentence so that we keep the flow. Of course, after people like my friend and Toronto Sun colleague Mark Danielle wrote up the comments from Musk, which nobody needed to hear, many Canadians turned from being outraged about our failing system to defending it against this foreigner and Yankee. No, we can still be outraged about this failure of our system, not our failing system, this one specific failure of our system. And we can also feel like we would turn around and tell Elon Musk, mind your own fucking business. This does not concern you. Have another bump. Of course, they forget that Musk, if he isn't already Canadian, has long qualified for Canadian citizenship and would surely qualify under the changes brought in by the current Liberals. We don't fucking care. He once lived here. He could qualify for Canadian citizenship. We should consider his opinion equal as to everybody who's lived here all their lives. Fuck you, Brian Lilly. Fuck you. Pardon my language today. Musk is someone who went to Queen's University, lived and worked in Toronto for a time, and spent summers on the family farm in Saskatchewan. Don't pretend he doesn't know Canada or our system. He's defending Elon Musk's quest to have his opinions taken seriously here. That's what Brian's task is. But as I predicted, the elbows up crowd were out and forced to defend our system simply on the basis that it is not the American system, and Musk criticized it. Quote, I agree it's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than the US, and that is true. Doesn't mean it can't be better. Doesn't mean that there was a failure. But that statement, that Canadians would dare say, I agree our healthcare system is not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than the US, just because Elon Musk decided to open his yap. That's what has Brian upset, not the fact that the man died. Now talk about the thousands of Americans who die at home because they can't afford healthcare, came the second reply. Just so damn typically Canadian, defending the system that is failing us just because it isn't the American system. Again, the system is not failing us. But every system has failures because there's no such thing as a perfect system. We can demand a better system without deciding to adopt another flawed system. Too many Canadians, though, can't get past the idea that we either have our failing system or the American one. So I'm going to detail how our system fails us compared to our comparable countries in the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. This organization measures and tracks economic, social, and health outcomes in the 38 most developed countries in the world. And while many Canadians will claim we have the best healthcare system in the world, the data doesn't back that up. And at this point, I think there is no more reason whatsoever to consider anything Brian Lilly has to say on this topic. So I don't care about his analysis because, as we can see, Brian Lilly clearly has an agenda. And his primary concern is not really for our healthcare system, or the man who died, or the family of the man who died, or the fact that a non-white woman, when she complains to hospital staff that her non-white husband is not being seen fast enough, is told that she is rude. And everything that could lead up to that type of attitude being present within the healthcare system. Doesn't care about that. Doesn't care about that. And he can't seem to make room in his mind to hold two competing thoughts at the same time. That a failure in the system does not necessarily mean that the system is failing. Those are two competing thoughts. The other two competing thoughts is that Canadians can recognize accurately that our healthcare system is better than that of the United States, while still recognizing it needs some mass improvement. And I wonder whose fault it is that our healthcare system isn't doing that well, according to Brian, in many parts of Canada. Could it possibly be the fault of the people who are directly in charge for administering the delivery of healthcare? That would be our premiers. Like we say on the show, our premiers have been the problem for quite a long time now. Because Brian Lilly can't go there, because if he had to go there, he would have to write about how the Doug Ford government has been taking healthcare transfer dollars and spending them on something else for quite a while. He would also have to write about how Doug Ford has been paying nursing agencies how much more time the price that it would cost to actually just hire nurses and pay them. Brian Lilly would have to write about how we are choosing to pay more for a service that we already receive, which takes money away from being able to do other stuff. If you are giving a significant chunk of our healthcare dollars to a middleman from an agency for the simple fact that they are saying, hey, you nurse, go work there today, go work there. And that money can't be spent on having actual more nursing staff in the hospital, better triage, maybe a better ECG machine. He would have to write about that. And we know that Brian Lilly most definitely cannot write about that, right? He's not allowed. He has certain personal, ethical constraints that prevent him from writing that type of story. So he's got to write about how it's outrageous that Canadians could hear Elon Musk deciding to opine on our healthcare system and turn around and tell him to go fuck off. We don't want to hear from you. It's not your turn. It's not your moment. We didn't hand you the football to spike because someone died tragically. Everything but the issue. Everything but the issue. Mario, Brian, the whole blue checkmark bullshit and bullshitters crowd, all the pee-pee stains, none of them actually care about the death. None of them actually care about how the system failed there. Right? They would be calling for inquiries. Right? They'd be calling for a top to bottom review. They would be looking not only like, was the ECG machine good? When was the last time it was inspected to get that type of test? How long has that machine been there? Did it need to be upgraded 5 years ago and they just didn't spend the money on it? What is the culture of that unit that makes it such that when someone comes up to the staff and says, hey, my husband is dying here, could you maybe do something? You're being rude, why don't you go sit down? That would be the appropriate response at that point for someone who is so concerned. Oh, darn, I just spilled my water all over my computer. That's how mad I am. God. That's the last thing I need is to short circuit my own computer now. Right? They're not asking about that. They're not. That's not what they're calling for. Now, fortunately, the government of Alberta has initiated a review, but I mean, I'm not sure that I would trust here the government to do their own review here. I would like a very, 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 very independent source in order to do that. Darn. Wish this glass of water would have landed on Danielle Smith instead. Maybe she would have melted. I'm so sorry. I couldn't resist that one. I went to see Wicked for good on the weekend. Oh my God. A man died. Where's the passion? Where's the concern? It's not there. You would think that if someone was able to be so outraged at the things that makes them so outraged that we see them go nuts about, that this certainly would be there. And yet my computer is going haywire because of the water that fell, and the screens are now all jumping, and the computer is just doing things on its own. So I don't know how much more of a show I'm going to be able to do for you to take Kids and Cubs. Hopefully I will be able to, because all the stories that I've brought up to be able to read to you, well, basically I've lost control of the computer. I am having a day. oh my God, such a day. I never asked at the beginning of the show, by the way, how your mental health is doing today, Kids and Cubs. Mine doing worse by the second. Everybody's saying I need to turn it off now. Okay, I'll turn it off, but now I've got no more content for show. Oh boy. Turn it off and jam it in a bag of rice. Yeah, that's not going to happen where I am, unfortunately. Well, there we go. I guess it is now trashed. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to me. I need to go buy a new computer. All right. Oh, well. Now I'm thrown. I don't know. I do not know what to do, and I've just dropped all the water on myself. The one that was on the table. All right. Not sure what to do right now. Right. Well, I have flipped it over to let the stuff leak out. So, Kid Playing with 3D says it's fine. Let it dry. Okay. I will try that. Oh, there's so much water all over the place. Oh my God, it's terrible. All right, but yeah, you did not show up to see me clean up water and complain about my own lot. So let's move on. Yeah, at least it's water and it's not sugary, because that would have definitely destroyed a whole lot more. Let's see, just turn anything off and call it a day. Yeah, I guess so. I get peasy. I had intended to bring you some other stories today that had slipped through the cracks. One of the stories that I was going to bring you was about former Liberal MP and Cabinet Minister Randy Boissonneault, who, if you remember, resigned because there was some stories about a business he had started with a business partner, and that business partner had made some applications to receive some funding from the federal government during the COVID period, and he had received some fundings by applying for some funds that would be available for people who are Indigenous, and claimed when he filled out the form that Randy Boissonneault claimed that he was Indigenous. It created a lot of brouhaha, especially in committee. Conservatives were all over that. And when Randy Boissonneault says that the Randy to whom someone was referring to in emails and stuff like that, that it was someone else who happened to be named Randy. Anyway, he resigned, promised Justin Trudeau that he was going to clear his name. And it turns out that he has. The whole thing has been investigated, and turns out that indeed Randy Boissonneault himself had absolutely nothing to do with all of this. It was his business partner gone rogue. It seems it was a situation where COVID, somebody that they met online, sort of like Mr. Grizzly and I met online, struck up some type of whatever and decided to go into business together, like we did. Except, unfortunately, he had picked someone who was less than trustworthy, unlike me, who really, 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 really lucked out with Mr. Grizzly. So yeah, he has been cleared. It was all set up. Well, not set up, but it was all the case of one person that in whom he had placed his trust, going very, 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 very rogue, betraying that trust in every single way possible. And even though he kept on saying it, hey, nobody would believe him. Now, of course, the Conservatives were particularly predisposed to not believing him, right? Because, well, he's a liberal. And to a conservative, the liberal is incapable of telling the truth. So they proceeded to gleefully pile on. And rather than do a real investigation, say, okay, this is what you say, let's look into that. Just demonized him and demonized him and demonized him and made his life a living hell until he resigned. Now, it could be just because Randy Boissonneault was a liberal that they decided to be that cruel and uncaring. It might have had something to do with the fact that he was liberal and openly gay. Conservatives are usually not a big fan of those people. But yeah, Randy Boissonneault was telling the truth. He had done nothing wrong. And he held his promise to former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, saying, I will clear my name. And he did. So there you go. There was also a story about the Federal Debates Commission that took place, if you remember, during the debate. The last federal election, we had some debates going on, and there was the head of the commission, Michel Cormier, his name was, had decided that he would let Rebel News in to cover the debate because there had already been a court case in the past where Rebel News had been denied access to the debates because they were not recognized as an official media or as a legitimate media, and they went to court. And it seems that there was a decision that was in Rebel's favor, and Michel Cormier and the debate commission, rather than writing new rules or whatnot, just decided to leave them in because, or let them come in because, well, they didn't want to fight it. And then Rebel News came in, and then they made the whole press area completely unpleasant for everyone else that was there. There was some huge, there was some very public arguments between Stuart Benson of the Hill Times and I believe Ezra Levant and some other people that were there. So much so that these people needed to be separated, and then the debate commission announced that the post-debate scrums would be cancelled for the second debate after the first debate went wrong. The debate commission had given access to so many people, according to Kit Linda here, 27 people had been given press access, and then they arrived so early that they just formed the whole line at the microphone to ask questions after the first debate and just peppered the debaters, except Pierre, of course, with really ridiculous and super loaded questions. They weren't there to do journalism, they were there to stunt and engage in their particular brand of advocacy. So it seems that there are going to be some changes the next time around, and it seems that, if my memory is still sharp with regard to that, it would appear that they will organize, the commission will now organize the debates, but they will not be organizing anything post debate. So if there are going to be moments after the debate where the contenders are going in front of a mic to talk about their debate performance and be asked questions, that the debate commission is just not going to be doing that anymore. They're just washing their hands rather than putting on the big boy pants and actually doing their job. And they're doing the same thing that Pierre does, the shiny silver medal. Well, if you count the actual debate, what appeared on TV for the debate, we did a really good job as the debate commission. So we're just going to keep on doing that part, and all the other stuff, we're just going to let that go now. We'll let other people do that. The whole point of putting in place this debate commission had to do with clearing up the rules and making the process more seamless. If you remember, it all started back when, we started having the Green Party and they were trying to get access to the debates. And some people were saying yes, and a lot of people were saying no, and then they were trying to establish all this criteria. And if you remember in the previous election, not the previous election, but the one that we just had, the Greens, Jonathan Pedneau was supposed to be at the debate, and then they let him know, basically with like fewer than 24 hours notice, or on the very day of the debate, that no, suddenly we've decided that you're no longer qualified to be in this debate, because they had a rule about the number of ridings in which a party had to have candidates running, and the Greens had submitted that they had people for enough ridings, but then there was like about 800 one of their candidates or whatnot that I guess didn't finish or complete the paperwork or something like that. And therefore, at the time that they submitted, they said that they were going to have this number of people. So they got the okay to participate. Turns out that all those people that they had didn't necessarily materialize. And even though the debate commission knew of this 2-3 weeks before the debate took place, waited until the very, 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 very last second to tell the Greens. Oh, by the way, we've just realized that you don't have actually all those candidates that you said you had at the beginning because all those things didn't go through. So no, you're not participating in the debate now. Now, that decision could be fair or unfair depending on how you state it. But let's say you say, okay, well, you know what, they didn't meet the criteria in the end, so I guess they were excluded. When you have 2-3 weeks to let someone know, you let them know at the very, very last minute. Clearly, the debate commission had no problem with the Greens participating until the very, very last minute. So somebody must have whispered something in somebody's ear, because it seems that up until that moment, the debate commission was very content with being that at the time you filed, you had the people. We gave you the yes, we followed through with that. So yeah, Michel Cormier, we showed you interviews with him after, right? Very, very, very unimpressive person. Really gave the impression of being weak and a doormat. Just making these explaining stuff away like all of this was completely normal and they had done their job so well. It's like, no, you can't claim you've done your job well when the disaster that happened at the post-debate press availability took place. You can't say you did your job well when you created a press room where you had to separate people because you thought it was maybe going to start getting violent. And it seems he's using that same passive perspective in week, being self-satisfied that the product that appeared on TV during the 90 minutes that the debate itself was taking place was good, and taking absolutely no accountability or responsibility for anything else. And rather than trying to improve the part that went wrong, just washing his hands of it. How does this man still have a job? Or that job, at least specifically? How? He's clearly terrible at it. But there you go. So it doesn't look like they're going to be replacing him. He hasn't announced anything about wanting to retire or step aside. So it looks like we're still stuck with him. But that is not the man for that job. He can't even stand up for himself. And when there comes a challenge, rather than rolling up a sleeve and doing the hard work of taking on that challenge to deliver a better product for us, for our right to cast a fully informed vote, he has just decided, no, it's just too hard. He gave up. He just gave up. We deserve way better. Way better than that. Oh, man. Also, yesterday, I can't bring you too many details, unfortunately, but it appears that Prime Minister Mark Carney, had a meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and that there's an additional commitment of about $2.5 billion from Canada to support Ukraine, for some additional support. So that's always a positive thing. It's nice to know that we are still in the fight and standing shoulder to shoulder. It seems that there's yet more talk of some type of a peace agreement now. It's a 20-point plan, it would appear. Who knows what's going to happen with Zelensky and Trump, but you've still got Trump saying really, really stupid things that are just patently untrue, like, but I believe that Russia wants Ukraine to succeed. Really? Where? How? Based on what? Because from where we're sitting, we're just in this endless loop that keeps on coming back to the same place, with Vladimir Putin saying, I am not going to stop this campaign until we reach our goals. And with every peace plan that keeps on coming back to the Ukraine, starting with the fact, well, you must cede territory that Russia hasn't managed to completely conquer and control yet, which is a non-starter for Ukraine. It seems there's some type of talk of some type of demilitarized zone with some type of security protections and that type of stuff. But Ukraine was already supposed to have some security protections from the United States and the UK, and they didn't actually follow through. Those were supposed to be security guarantees in exchange for surrendering their nukes. That one didn't hold up. I'm not sure why anybody in Ukraine would ever assume that any other promise that involves the United States and potentially the UK with regard to its defense would hold up now. I mean, Ukraine surely does not believe that Vladimir Putin would hold up his end of any deal that they were to sign. And, well, we kind of know that the word of the United States on a document has no value these days. So I'm not sure where this goes from this point on. It seems like just more spinning round and round and round with one nail foot to the floor and going in circles. But at least we're still there. And we're still standing side by side with Ukraine and doing the right things. Hopefully something will unblock at some point so that we can get to some resolution. But it doesn't look like that's going to be happening anytime soon, unfortunately. Oh, man. I really want that war to be over, man. But hey, who am I? I'm saying this from the comfort of living in Canada. I'm sure Ukrainians would be able to say that way more convincingly. They would love that war to be over too. Probably way more than I do. And I never wanted it to start. So, again, we'll wait to see what developments are there, but at least, Canada, we're doing the right thing. We're standing by our friends. There was another thing that I saw the other day, Prime Minister Carney delivering a message. I think it was a strictly written message in which he took the time to offer his sincere thanks to our premiers for all their collaboration in helping us move forward. And although we all know that all the premiers have not been equally helpful, yes, Danielle and Scott, I'm looking at you both. In this process, the Prime Minister still, one, keeping it classy, and two, not being afraid to share the credit. Not being afraid to share the credit for what has gone right. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of liking this peace, order, and good government thing. We should keep that going. Sounds like a good deal to me. All right. Kids and Cubs, I think that's all I remember off the top of my head today. So, given that I cannot turn the computer on, and I should probably not turn it on at the moment, I am going to wrap this up and bid you adieu for today. So, Kids and Cubs, that's the end of this really weird and wild and unpredictable and whatever words you want to use episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. We hope that you love listening to us because we love making this for you. Remember, sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. So please tell your peeps and poops all about us. Really makes us happy when you do, especially when you share with your circle why it is that our content resonates with you. And that's advertising we cannot buy. And we are so grateful that you choose to grant that to us. So thank you. Now, Kids and Cubs, if you would like us to help you because you are busy beavers and busy cubs on the go, and sometimes you can't watch the show live thanks to the Ray Girl, well, you can check out our pod page. You scan that QR code, it will bring you right there, podpage.com/the-true-north-eager-beaver, all in one word with a hyphen, not all in one word, sorry, with a hyphen between each one of those words. And when you go there and click subscribe when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, it comes directly to you. Now, Kids and Cubs, if you would like to help us, we would be very grateful to receive some of your help. And one of the ways you can do that is by going down to the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page. The QR code that just appeared in the corner will bring you right there. And there you can smash with our buttons like, share, and subscribe. Give them a click. It helps us with the algorithm when you do. And when our numbers go up, well, it does make us happy. So thank you for that. Now, Kids and Cubs, if you want to help us in yet another way, we do incur some costs to bring this show to you. I might have to buy a new laptop. So if you would like to help support us financially, because like I said, with the costs that we have, and you would like to give us help, that help would be very much welcome. And you can do that by going to our Ko-fi page. That is ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word. And if you are there, you can make a donation to the Emergency Hydration Fund, or you can do your bit to keep your favorite beaver moist. And I will try to sip this without spilling more on the computer. Success, superstar. It's a day. It's a day. At least I'm keeping my sense of humor. You did get saucy. You just did all that because you wanted a new computer. You're blowing my cover. Shh. I'm trying to make this look natural. Help me out here. No, it's literally just the French or the fabulous in me. I had the hands waving, and I just knocked the glass over. It's what I do. It's not my first spillage in my lifetime for talking with my hands. Let's just put it that way. Oh, Kitten Cover, I'm sorry that you're not feeling the best today. I'm sending you some healing energy. So, Kids and Cubs, if you would like to make a donation, Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word, and there you will find the Emergency Hydration Lodge, the Emergency Hydration Fund here at the Beaver Lodge, where you can make a little contribution with some toonies and some loonies to help us. We call them enthusiastic expressions of encouragement. Somebody sent us something on Boxing Day, and I would like to give you a shout out, but I can't look it up. So we'll have to wait till another day so that you can get your props. But thank you so much for your donation, and we will definitely give you a shout out when we're able. Pardon me, kids and cubs. I need to cough. I'm a little congested. There you go. That's a little better. Kit Linda going, damn, I want a hydration lodge. And then I saw another kit a little earlier saying, no, we saw it was natural. Kit Nona Carol, I know nothing about talking with my hands. Oh, yes. Nonas know absolutely nothing about talking with their hands. Oh my God. Kid Saucy, remember, a moist beaver is a happy beaver, but not a moist laptop. Yeah, and given the quantity of water that has fallen on my pants in the general crotch area, and in particular my right leg, you have a particularly moist beaver at the moment. Normally, my costume changes are reserved for within the show, but I'm going to have a costume change post-show today. Killed me. All right. So anyway, if you would like to contribute via our coffee page, we would be very grateful for that. And of course, you can contribute via yes, the emoji. I also need a emoji too, I think. Oh man, I tell you. All right. So, and of course, there is the super chat through the YouTube and the memberships that we have available. All the ways that you are able to support us really is important. And if you are doing the Buy Canadian thing, truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com is our email address, and you can send us a direct transfer that way. It goes from your Canadian bank to our Canadian bank, which means your transaction's 100% Canadian, which means that the USC Tech Bros don't get a cut of your donation. And in fact, the cut that would go to them actually comes to us so that we can do more with your donation. Your beaver buck will go further. So if you are able to help, that's a good way to do it, to keep your transaction Canadian. Now, kids and cubs, if you are not able to contribute financially, please do not worry, because the gifts of your attention and participation are the ones that matter the most to us. And I cherish them personally very, very, very much so. And we love to hear from you. So would you write to us, truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. That's our email address. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know how you're doing. And let us know what you think of the show while you're here, right? Or if you have some guest suggestions for interviews and conversations, let us know who you would like to see on the show, and we'll do our best to reach out and get them for you. We're not always successful, but we try our hardest. And, we do pretty well. Kid Elaine, now he's going to have to explain to Alex why his pants are wet. Oh, Alex will know. We've been together 13 years. He'll know. He'll just see it and he'll know. He says, you talk with your hands, kid, did you? Yeah. See, I always have to remember to put the glass outside of the range of my wingspan. That's the only way. That's the only way things stay safe. Oh man. So yeah, please do write to us. And also, Kids and Cubs, on the YouTube page, in the posts section, we have some questions for you, some survey questions for some year-end retrospective stuff for a show that we're going to do. Sort of like year in review type thing. So, and we want your opinion and your participation. So, if you have the opportunity to answer some of the poll questions that are there, that would be very, very helpful to us as well. So, and many of you have already. So, thank you for participating. But that's there too. So, please, we do want to hear from you. Write to us. Okay. Now, if you want to reach us via our socials, at True Eager at the Blue Sky Beaver Lodge on the Shitter, True North Eager Beaver on Facebook, our original home down here in the comments section. If you happen to be watching on our YouTube channel, these are all places that you can leave us your thoughts. We do read everything, even though we're not able to answer everyone. And if you want to keep the Damn Fam fun going after the show, remember we have the Damn Fam Discord. Yeah. And that is led and created by you. That is your initiative. So if some of the wonderful kids will post it in the chat, so that we can go there and click on it and keep the conversation going and the good times going and the support going. That because the Damn Fam is such a wonderfully supportive community. So please spend some time there and check that out. And of course, thanks to Kit Uncover, even though she is not at her best today, for taking care of an Instagram for us and ensuring that we have a present there as well. It means a lot to us. Everything that you guys do to support us means a lot to us. So thank you. Very, very grateful for all that you do. All that you do. Because democracy is something that you do, remember, kids and cubs, we do have the House of Commons petition. I believe it is E6821 that will serve. That is serving. See, there's the Damn Fam Discord right on command. Thank you, Kids Aussie. To make it such that to encourage our members of Parliament to table legislation that would make it such that foreign ownership laws for our media would be changed so that Canadian media would be owned and operated by Canadians and for the best interest of Canadians. At this point, it's a national security issue with the way that there's so much meddling and active disinformation campaigns. So if you could put your signature on that and spread it to those you care about and those who are in your circle to get more signatures on that, that would be very, very much appreciated. So thank you for that. All right. Words of wisdom. Don't spill water on your electronics. Also, if at first you don't succeed, try again. If you still don't succeed, try again. If you still don't succeed, try again. And if after the fourth time you still don't succeed, pack it in for the day. It's probably not going to work. Oh my God, I'm being so silly. Okay. Yes, a large desk is essential for my wingspan. Because, okay, send money. I need a bigger desk too. Actually, send more money. I need to build another room so I could put the glass of water in a whole other room that way. Because I saw the comment go through, and if you put it on the floor, you end up kicking it. So I'm kidding. I don't want you to build me another room. I'm not that greedy. All right. Oh God, I'm going off the rails. Okay. So yeah, words of wisdom. I need a covered travel mug. Yes. See, that's a much more reasonable ask. Send a donation for a covered travel mug. That's more reasonable. I like that. There we go. See, Canadians, radically reasonable. There we go. There's the see, and there are no problems. There are only solutions waiting to be found. Leave it to the Damn Fam. They take care of me. You guys are just wonderful and delightful. So yeah, words was okay, kids and cubs. It could be a tough world out there. So please be kind to and gentle with yourself. And Creator knows that that's exactly what I'm going to be doing when I sign up. I'm going to be very kind and gentle with myself today. Today's been an adventure already. Wonder what else the day has in store. Wonder if I should be let near the toaster today. That might not be a good idea to operate the toaster today. I think I'm having one of those days. All right. Yes, radically reasonable. That needs to be on a t-shirt indeed. And hopefully, if we can have merch sometime in 2026, I might actually produce some of those t-shirts that say radically reasonable. All right, kids and cups. Let's see. So I guess it's audience participation time. So kids and cubs, if you would, please, on the count of three, all together, could you give me a big, bold, enthusiastic, and very loving Mr. Beaver, please cue the cock. And let's hope that when I press the button, the phone doesn't explode on me. On one, two, I've lost it. Three. Okay, I heard you. I heard you. Okay, cross your fingers, your toes, your arms, your legs, and your eyes for me, because I'm about to press the button. We don't know what's going to happen. Here we go.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music.
Is it safe? Is everything still in one piece? Just making sure. I'm just playing. Before we go, a little bit of news of Canadians who make us proud. Shae Gilgeous-Alexander, basketball player who had won the Northern Star Award for Athlete of the Year from the Toronto Star, also won the Canadian Press's Male Athlete of the Year award for the second year in a row. And then, of course, Summer McIntosh. I don't think that this one was a surprise. Won the Female Athlete of the Year. I personally would have chosen her for the Athlete of the Year over Shae Gilgeous-Alexander, even though he does have a very impressive record. Summer McIntosh won 4 world titles this year. 4 world titles. Yes, and at Canadian trials on the way there, set 3 world records. So I know basketball is an entire season and you play lots of matches and whatnot, and his achievements are, over a period of time, over a full season, and therefore very impressive. But I don't see how an impressive season at any sport that has so many games, as impressive as it is, beats 4 world championships and 3 world records. But the people at the Toronto Star saw it differently. But Summer McIntosh, Female Athlete of the Year, Canadian Press. Shae Gilgeous-Alexander, Male Athlete of the Year, Canadian Press. Good stuff. A beloved curler, E.G. Harnden, of the Brush Brothers, right? E.J. and Ryan. I keep on saying that. Every time I see Ryan Harnden play, I find he reminds me a lot of Mr. Grizzly, the way that he looks. But every time I show a picture of Ryan Harden to Mr. Grizzly, it's a picture of him that never looks like he looks like he photographs just so differently than he looks on TV. So Mr. Grizzly goes, I don't see it. It's like, you have to watch him play live because then you would see it. But E.J. Harnden, Olympic gold medalist, I think it was Vancouver 2010, if I'm not mistaken, or was it Sochi, with the team Brad Jacobs at the Olympics. many Canadian championships, all that kind of stuff. Had a extremely fantastic career. I'm a little sad that he's retiring already, but he's called it a day. Wants to spend time with his wife and family and have other pursuits. Yeah, he will be missed. I will miss watching him play a lot. I really like his style and all that kind of stuff. And of course, as you all know, this is also Brad Gushu's last competitive season as well. And well, there's a lot of so we're going to be losing a lot of big names at the end of this season. Hopefully that they will maintain some involvement with curling in some way, shape, or form. I cannot imagine Brad Gushu not playing some type of role, either coaching or maybe one day becoming the CEO of Curling Canada or something of the sort. E.J. Harden, there is a place for him definitely because he's just that damn good if he wants to. But if he moves on to other things and that's it, totally, then everybody's entitled to make that choice. But it was just I'm just like thinking, no, it's too early. It's too early yet. You're not done. There's so much more left. But on the other side of the ledger, he has accomplished pretty much everything that there is to accomplish. He even won the Olympic gold medal. So, he's had a fantastic Hall of Fame career. I'm sure it won't take that long before he's admitted. But E.G. Harnden retiring from the sport. So there you go. And also, kids and cubs, the World Junior Hockey Championships are taking place. At the moment, Canada so far is 2-0 in round robin play with a 7-5 victory against Czechia. It was looking a little shaky for a while because Canada was down 3-2 at one point, but did manage to get the 7-5 win. And then the day after, once again, we seem to have a lot of trouble with Latvia for some reason. We don't necessarily think of Latvia as a hockey superpower, but they seem to have our number. We have had a lot of close games with them lately, and this was another one that had to go into overtime, and Canada did eke out the win 2-1. But it's like we score 7 goals against Czechia and 2 against Latvia. They must have a really hot goaltender, some really fantastic defense. I didn't get to see that match, but just like wow, it's Latvia's probably got a good little program starting there because this is not the first time they offer us a challenge, and I think they've even beaten us a couple of times in the past. Which always strikes everyone as a surprise when it happens. But like I said, parity, it's growing around the world in the sport. The next match for Team Canada, I believe, is tonight at 8:30 p.m. versus Denmark. So if for those of you who are doing the patriotic thing, join around the TV and give a little cheer and go Canada, go. And let's see if our boys can make it to 3 in a row. That's all I have got for you today, kids and cubs. I'm now going to go and enjoy some breakfast that I am not going to prepare. Because right now, just managing to get upstairs, to pull out the chair and sit down without something breaking, falling apart, or short-circuiting will be a win. So I'm going to make that attempt now. Thank you, kids and cubs, for spending some time with me this morning. Despite Kisasi, I'm just going to wing it in 2026. You know what? Maybe I should try that, actually, because I tend to be too much of a planner. Maybe winging it, I might discover some benefits. Let's put it all right, kids and cubs, have a wonderful day. If you are someplace that is very, very, very cold and where you don't have power, again, remember, if you have a very, very small room in the house, like a very tiny bathroom or sort of water closet area, that's a small place you can go to and make sure that the space is under the door. Or sealed and whatnot, where you can bring a candle or two and keep that warm. Also, good things if you like a table like this and just spread blankets over the top so that they reach down to the floor, and then, create yourself a little fort and keep that warm, especially if you have no idea how long your power is going to be out. And remember, there is cbc.ca/light, LITE, which allows you to, if you don't have power, so you're not able to recharge your cell phone and you don't want to lose a lot of bandwidth, it's a low bandwidth service. No images, no video, no nothing, just text. That you can connect to in order to keep abreast of what's going on, so that you can get your emergency information as it comes in, and all of that kind of stuff. But do stay safe. Do keep warm. If you're any place where there is lots of winds or there has been some freezing rain, if you do not have to be on the road, do not go. It is slippery, and do leave the roads clear for emergency vehicles in case they are needed. If you've got some weather, make the best of it and try to have a nice quiet day at home, especially if you do still have power. But if you don't, there are some trips and there are some hacks, like I said, to stay warm. The most important part is to keep a place that is a spot in your house that can be kept warm, and make sure that you stay there. And that you don't do like me, talk with your hands and then knock over your candle or something. So, no candles, because that would be very, 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 very bad. All right. But do take care of yourself and make sure that you do have a space like that, because you never know when the power will come out, and you never know how long it's going to take for it to come back on. And it is important to stay warm. That's probably the most important thing. All right. If you're not able to cook food and stuff like that, you can go for a while, and yes, you'll be uncomfortable, but you can go for a little bit without food. Warmth, there's only so long you can go without it. So please, please, please do what you need to do to stay warm. We want to keep the damn fam all together so that we can have a wonderful 2026 in each other's company. All right. Maybe a covered lantern. Yes, indeed. There you go. We're very fortunate where we are. We have power and nothing's been interrupted yet. But like I said, you just never know with storms like this and with shifting weather. So please, 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 just a little forethought and a little planning can go a long way to make a situation that can be extremely uncomfortable and unpleasant way more bearable. Okay. Amour et bisous. And we will see you tomorrow. And we'll try again and see what happens. I think tomorrow I'm not going to try anything fancy because it doesn't seem to be working here. So it'll probably be another as low tech as possible, given what we have here. It might be like that until we get back to the Beaver Lodge at the end of the holidays. I apologize for that. But I would rather deliver a low-tech show and still have some time with you, Damn Fam, than not do a show at all. Because my Damn Fam time is important to me. I love it. It makes me feel good. So with that, a little bit of positivity, I am off, and we will see you tomorrow. Let's see if we can get a little cheerful music on the way out. Hi, everybody.